way. They just don't have it open constantly, which is kind of an actually annoyance for me. But whatever.
Going live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 199 of Lonely Gods. I'm your host, David, and I'm joined here, as always, by Kate.
I just hope that I'm joined by you this time.
You are, thankfully.
Oh, you may notice that there's a missing episode.
And for all... I was going to say that, Kate. For all two of you that listen,
Yeah.
you may notice we've gone from 197 to 199.
Unless you happen to be on
in
YouTube
classic Doctor Who
for a 12-hour window.
2-hour window.
Mm.
We in classic Doctor Who fashion, we now have a lost episode. The recording for 198 got fucked up.
I made a dumb mistake. What happened is...
Yes.
Basically what happened is that the video that went out only had me talking to nobody, because Dave did not get recorded, because I changed something in Discord and then did not make the appropriate change on XSplit, so there was no anything. I'm doing weird hand gestures that no one can see. Except my husband, who probably thinks I've lost my mind. That's okay.
It's crazy it's taken us this long for this to happen. I don't think this has ever happened before.
I don't think so. Although, when you think about it, this is probably what each of our partners have to listen to every week. Is one side of the podcast.
That's true.
You know, maybe it's like you're our in our houses, listening to nothing.
Maybe one day we'll release it, and then you can just fill in my gaps and pretend like you're on the show, not me.
There you go. It'll be fun.
It'll be interactive.
Yeah, it's a podcast where you make up the conversation.
So you might also be asking yourself, well, if that happened, why didn't you just re-record 198? And the answer is no.
I'm way too lazy for that. I think...
Oh.
No, we talked about...
We also spent... It was an hour-long episode, and we spent half an hour talking about nothing. So it wasn't even a good episode. Like, it wasn't...
I don't know if it was bad. It was off topic a lot of the time, but...
It was pretty... We just kind of kept circling topics. We didn't really have a great discussion about them, I don't think.
Well, let's see. We whined about Doctor Who. We whined about Big Finish. We whined about the new series. We talked about what our plans are going forward, because we're nearing the end of the classic series and what that's going to look like.
Just looks like audios.
Well, it looks like release order, so a big bunch of audios, and then after that, alternating blocks of audios and the new series. But basically, what it comes down to with the potential price increase for Big Finish overseas purchasers, anything not based on an actual TV show is going to be on the back burner. And we'll cover it, all the random spin-offs like Jago and Lightfoot or fucking Missy's Home for Bad Children or whatever the fuck is going to be whenever I get to it, when it's on sale and I don't have to pay a lot of money for it, because blech.
Yeah, no, I mean, I figured that was the plan for a lot of that stuff anyway. Even if there wasn't this currency change, like, we would never pay full price for some of these, because we're just, like, we're interested in the sense that there's a, well, something like New Earth, there's like a sick fascinate. Like, I want to hear that, because, like, what is that? Come on, you can't
I know,
that.
I know. But, yeah, so, like, actual Doctor Who, Torchwood, Class, Sarah Jane, those are the things. Everything else is whatever.
Like, you keep including Class in there. Like, there's a ton of, like, it's so popular and there's so much material for it.
Well, they did 2 fucking box sets of it that released the same day. So I mean, I don't know if they'll do more of it or not, but it is a thing. There were audios of Class.
I know they did some stuff, but they didn't do a lot.
They did do some stuff. They also put Ace in it and a Dalek, because I think they realized nobody wants Class by itself.
Also, I'm super excited to re-listen to those first series of Sarah Jane audios that are adult adventures.
and not K9 hiding in the chimney.
I like both. Okay.
I like both too. So yeah, and obviously also we talked about the ultimate foe in the end of Trial of a Time Lord. So do you want to go over that
Yes,
somewhat briefly?
we will recover that because also it wasn't. I mean, we enjoyed it, but it's not great. It's acceptable.
I liked it. I mean, it's a damn
It's
sight better than what we have to talk about this week, but
yeah, for sure. Though I did enjoy this week's more than you did, clearly.
uh,
But it is bad. It's not good.
there's some sick people out there. We'll leave it at that
Um,
until we get to it.
um, essentially, so we've come down to the line, and the doctor's, being tried. He's on trial for genocide now. Mel shows up to uh, protest his innocence.
Although she kind of seals
Um,
his fate because she goes in there and they roll back the Vervoids DVD and they're like, "Did you do that? Was that the plan?"
oh, that's the
And she was
fake
like,
part.
"Yes."
That was the Matrix part
I
too.
don't
That wasn't
care.
real
It was
Mel.
funny.
Remember?
I don't
Um,
care. I don't know
Also,
what's real anymore. It's
Sabalom Glitch showed up.
oh yeah.
It turns out that the Valeyard is an evil version of the Doctor in between what 11 and 12.
It's supposed to be his
So
12th and final incarnation or something like that. So
yes,
yeah, I think that spurred a tangent
we
of Moffat renumbering everything and screwing it all up, so that he
it
could.
also spawned. They should bring back the Valeyard and just recast one of the Doctors as evil Doctor, and it would be pretty great.
Eh. I don't know. I think to me the attraction of the Valiard is hiring an actor that never got to be the Doctor. So like if they went back and hired somebody they considered and didn't use, that would be more interesting to me.
I would like both.
But
That would be super interesting, though.
yeah. But
Or you can
it's Big Finish,
make
so
the
there's an audio
Valeyard
for that.
Idris Elba.
No,
One sec.
no.
I know. Anyway, uh, so the Master showed up to say that the Doctor is innocent. He's the one that reveals the Valeyard thing.
Yes.
The Valeyard escapes into the Matrix, which
Yeah.
turns out is like a weird VR
Well,
crazy.
we knew that already.
It's like the holodeck.
We knew that you could enter
but
the
it's a
Matrix
weird one that happened.
from like Tom Baker times, though.
The Wachowskis watched Doctor Who.
I don't know. I mean, they watched every anime ever made, so probably Doctor Who. Doctor Who's anime. I mean, it never ends, so it's a little bit
Doctor Who
like
is not
anime. It is. It's stupid and it never ends. Anyway, so
anime ends.
have you seen One Piece?
Okay, One Piece doesn't end. You're right. You got me. You found the one that doesn't end.
Yeah, I was looking on Comixology and they had like the new release page on the front and I was like it was like One Piece Volume 91 and I'm like, "Oh my god."
I've read a lot of it too. It's pretty great.
But
it's like American.
Jesus. Anyway, okay, this is off topic.
It's just like American comic.
Well,
it is off topic. Anyway, we don't need to get off topic on the recap.
No, but suffice
episode.
to say that apparently the Master was the one that was like editing the Matrix and stuff, wasn't he? Because he's been hiding in the Matrix with his TARDIS because you can do that apparently.
Oh, no, it was the Sleepers. The Sleepers had stolen information.
Oh yeah,
from
I know
the Matrix
that.
Because there were backdoors.
But they were editing the memories or something. Who was that? Was it the Valiard or the Master? This is what happens when it's 2 weeks. Okay, fine. But
the Valiard at the behest.
The Master
is the High Council, because it turned out to get.
Oh my god.
Master's secret plan was to get secrets out of the Matrix. Remember, and then he failed. And
oh right, no, he's the one who sent Glitz to get the briefcase, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so he's been hiding out in the Matrix because you can do that, and he's got like a weird fucking disco background, and he turns up on the home theater screen, and nobody knows who he is for some reason.
Also, the Valiard has a secret bomb that's going to shoot lasers through the home theater screen and kill all the people in the court.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's an entrance to the Matrix like next door somehow. Um, so maybe it wouldn't be through the screen. I don't know. Maybe it would blast
No,
open the
no, it
door.
was literally because they had like opened a view screen. It was going to
I
go through the
know. I'm
screen.
trying to
It was
give them
that
an
dumb.
out.
It was
It's
that dumb, Kate.
it's
Accept it.
silly. I just I like how the
It
keeper
was
of the
it was
Matrix
fun.
like rolls up to the court and he's like, no one could edit the Matrix because you can't get into the Matrix unless you have the key, and I'm the one with the key, and no one
Then the
can copy
master
it.
shows
And the
up and he's
master's
like, "Ha
like,
ha
aha, I
ha!
made a
I have the
copy.
key."
It's like, oh, okay. Um, I don't know. I liked it. It was cool. Sablon Glitz is fun. There's a lot of
It's
surreal
fun.
bullshit in the Matrix, and I like surreal bullshit, like creepy water
We
barrel
love
sand
real
beach
bullshit.
hands and stuff.
Um, and the fun fair,
Yes,
the Fantasy Factory, or
Fantasy
whatever it was
Factory
called,
with
the Fun
doors
Fact.
that.
Well, I don't remember.
Yes, it's the fun factory. It's where doors don't lead anywhere, and there's an irritable
PNC
clerk.
Music Factory.
And
Oh yes, and we got Mr. Popowick,
yeah, there you go. I was gonna call him Bob
who was
Cratchit.
actually he was actually the Valeyard in disguise.
Yeah, Valiard is a master of disguise. It's funny because when he's Mr. Cratchit, or fucking Popelwick,
Popowick.
he fucking like has one of those like perfect masks that isn't rubber and fake until it's the close up to take it off. Um, but when you find out he survives his own bomb in the fucking courtroom, he's just has a different hat on. and like Inquisitor Darkle is like just like talking to him and doesn't notice somehow. It's perfect.
Oh yeah, at the end, it's very dumb.
It's very dumb. So, but yeah, we find out with the big mystery of the edited Matrix and the blown up planet or whatever is that somebody hacked the Matrix. The sleepers hacked the Matrix to like steal plans out of the fucking, or to steal information out of the Matrix, and the Time Lords got mad. The High Council tried to cover it up, so they moved
They moved
Earth
here.
somewhere else, and I guess because they moved it too fast, it caught fire or something. And yeah, and then they were trying to cover it all up so that no one knew, but the Master knew, and I guess the Valiant knew, and it was all a
They
plot.
broadcast the trial to everyone.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, I thought it was kind of strange that they took Mel to like testify for the Doctor, even though she hadn't met him yet, from his perspective.
Then they send the doctor off. He goes to return Mel to her timeline so that they can meet in the proper order.
Yeah, but she's already whatever. I don't know. Like, there's a fair bit of like discussion and audios and novels and probably comics that have tried to go over like when their first actual meeting was, because you never really get to see it. So I don't know, like if those extra pieces of media actually line up with each other, or if it's like the Sixth Doctor's demise, where there's two different versions at least. But
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. So, but I did
It's
like
confusing.
I
They
did
don't explain it.
no, but I did like the Ultimate Foe. I liked Trial overall. I think it gets a bit of a bad rap, and I don't know why.
It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. I kind of wish we could have gone over Ultimate Foe more thoroughly, but unfortunately we did, and then I ruined it. So that's as far as it gets, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine.
Do you have anything
It's
else to
okay.
say about it?
I mean, I really like the story overall. The Trial of Time Lord was really fun. I wish they do more long arcs like that, but do it like that where they're broken up into story chunks, because I don't think Doctor Who can tell a story for like 10 hours straight. They tried it with Miracle Day, and it should have been like 2 episodes shorter.
I'm one of the weirdos that likes Miracle Day, but
Miracle Day's fun. It's just too long.
well, there's some not very good decisions made in that show, but I like the premise. It's a good idea.
Yeah, the idea is fascinating.
Yeah, but anyway,
But there are bad parts.
there are bad parts.
Anyway, trial.
Hang on. Before I forget, we did not mention that we find out that Perry did not really get shot, and she's gone to live as the warrior
He's
queen on
living with
King
the
Ham's
king.
planet.
Yes, which is the
It's
best.
just such a weird thing, and I kind of wish they had shot her for real. I think it would have been more impactful, but the
At
idea that
least,
she
at
went
least,
the idea that she went to marry that random blowhard is kind of funny to me, so I'll
hey,
take it.
hey, we talked about this last week, and I'm going to mention it again.
Well, nobody
At
heard
least
that,
she
so
married someone interesting,
I
because
mean, for
every time they just like they have a companion leave to just be with some dude, they're so boring.
yeah, it is a pretty classic series thing to do, unfortunately.
Put the
But
woman off with some boring guy who
yeah,
has a good heart.
yeah. But it's a convenient and lazy way to write out people without having to actually kill them or give them a definitive ending or something, interesting that would require thought. It's an easy
If you're gonna
excuse.
kill off a companion like that, it should be worse.
Well, yeah.
There either needs to be a noble sacrifice or horrific.
I don't know. I mean, personally, I think
I
slamming
will
Adric
accept
into the
no other.
surface of the Earth was a great idea. We should have done it
It
more
was a
often
noble sacrifice.
and long before. Oh, what a turd.
It was,
I hate him. I would have gone back
yeah,
in
but he has
time.
like the best death.
Yeah, he gets killed like that. You should go back in time, get an earlier Adric, kill him on the same ship, like fill that entire ship full of Adrics
Wait
from
a
different times,
minute.
and just smash them all into the Earth, and it would
Wait,
be
he didn't
great.
die. He became the Bug King,
Look, I'm not. I don't
King of
want
the
to talk. I
Scorpions.
don't want to talk about the fucking Scorpion King. Big Finish has a lot to
Made
answer
me
for.
listen to it. You made me listen to it.
Yeah, I well look. That was then, and this is now. And now I wish that it didn't exist. And I've always wished that, really. But that's
It's pretty god awful.
that's really just the problem with Big Finish, though. Is like they don't know when to let go and they don't know when to leave well enough alone. Any little dangling
Yeah.
thread, any possible gap in continuity, even if it's not actually there, they will exploit it because that sells, I guess. But whatever. That's fine. So yeah, it was good. It was like you said. I'd be interested to see longer arcs in Doctor like Classic Who anyway more often. We got the key to time as well. But
Don't do like the Nissa stories. It's too long.
well, again, that's like I said. Big Finish does not know when to let go. They can't
Didn't
do
you
it.
say there's another storyline that's been going on for a super long time too?
Well, um, a lot of people got really sick of Charlie before we finally got rid of her. And then we got our own spin-off box set, but I'm not sure I would call that an arc per se.
Oh, I meant like didn't 5 or 6 have a story like a Big Finish story arc that still hasn't ended?
Well, I mean, kind of.
Also, no, I would not call the Charlie thing an arc. That's just a companion run.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I would say no, because like up to Zagreus, I would say it's an arc. Because taking her off the airship and causing all the time fuckery, and then that culminates with Zagreus, I'd say that's an arc. It's just after that she stuck around, and I think that's why people started to get sick of her. But anyway, I don't know. It's hard to say when things are kind of going on too long. I think Old Nissa is probably the worst example of it, really. But
Yeah.
it's less storylines, and for me, it's more like companions and tinkering with continuity for no reason. It's things like, do you really need 57 Tom Baker and Leela audios that are all the same?
Yeah.
You know. Although funny you should mention that
Oh.
because one of the news points this week.
Hey,
So we
we
can,
actually have news.
yeah, we can segue a little bit into the Big Finish's news
Oh.
news clues, if you want. Anyway, fucking, they've announced that there's going to be a Sixth Doctor and Perry box set after the Trial of a Time Lord.
And
And
who?
hey,
And who? Sixth Doctor and who?
Perry.
Oh, Perry.
Yes, yes.
I heard Carrie, and I was
No,
like,
no.
what?
Yeah, yeah, Carrie. No, Carrie after the
I'm
prom.
dumb, Kate. I'm very
Anyway, so
dumb.
so this no, I just don't enunciate well. So anyway, this is going to be set after Trial of the Time Lord, so after her being the Warrior Queen. And we were talking about things going on too long. This is more a thing they started and then dropped because 5 years ago they did an audio with Sixie meeting up with Perry again. And they never followed up on that thread until this. And that's not actually going to release until August of next year, so it'll be 6 years before any follow up. So that's good. Other than that, there's not really anything to say about any sort of big Finish news. There was a Sylvester McCoy sale for his birthday, and I bought stuff for the first time in like a year. There's a writing.
Speaking of
Huh?
what?
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm ready to talk about this week's story.
Oh no!
Let's talk about Sylvester McCoy.
Never. The last thing I wanted to say is, if you are an aspiring writer, any two of you people, there is a contest on which is open submissions to write a story for the next Benny box set. It's well, I don't know if it's a box set, but anyways, yes, it is box set. Sorry, the new Bernie Summerfield box set for next year. There's a contest to submit a script for that. It will be with Benny and a alternate universe doctor played by David Warner. She's been palling around with for the last few, so I guess if that's a thing that you want to do, then go find the site and give it a try. And if you don't, then
Sounds fun. Unfortunately, we haven't covered anything, so if you're just following the show, you wouldn't know enough to be able to go write that story.
We've mentioned Bernice Summerfield before.
I listened to like a season and a half, but that was more when I was just doing homework on my own. And
yeah, I know.
Mentioned it on the show.
But I just
we'll get there.
For those who care, okay, for those who fucking care, it's a thing. Now, yes.
Oh, let's talk about season 24. Season 24 of Doctor Who premieres with the time and the Rani.
Yeah.
Also, a brand new theme song or arrangement.
Yeah.
And holy fuck, Kate, we've reached peak 80s.
Is that what you sent that to me?
That's why I sent that, as I started watching the first episode. And I was just like, Jesus Christ.
It's a great theme entrance song.
Cheap
I like
80s CP out the ass.
Oh, come on. It's great. I love
pumping 80s, like, tubular mall techno. Like,
it's not mall techno. What the hell? I mean, it's synthesizer. It's not techno.
Music, whatever. Fuck, what was I?
It's got purple in it, and I like it.
This actually, the music really reminds me of the theme song to Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
You're hopeless.
Dude, it's so great. No. I really liked it. And then, like, the font, the crazy font rolls in.
It's fantastic. I really like that arrangement of the theme song. It's one of my favorite ones.
I do too. I really like it. I didn't say it's bad. I just said it's super 80s. Why do you think it's a bad thing?
It is the first of the CG openings. We were stuck with CG titles forevermore.
I don't like the font. That's the only thing I don't like.
I kind of do, because it looks like an after school infotainment program that would.
That's why I don't. I think it looks wrong for Doctor Who. Like, it's super fun to see Doctor Who in that font, but like it feels wrong.
It's like the fucking body break. One of those things that interrupts your Saturday morning cartoons to be like, if you're afraid of a stranger, don't open the door and call your parents. It's perfect. That's about the only thing that is perfect. It's Time in the Rani.
Yeah. So, Time in the Rani.
Time in the Rani.
Yeah, we start the episode with the TARDIS getting yanked off course. And the Doctor falls down.
No, we get this the CG TARDIS being shot at by the CG laser beams.
Yes.
Because it's fucking 1987, baby, and we can do CG.
Looks really bad, but in a fun way.
I don't know. I mean, it's fine for what it is. I think
Yeah,
after
but
watching
it
5 seasons of Babylon 5, like low poly CG is like so whatever. When it's spaceships and it doesn't have to interact with real people, it's fine.
yes, that is true. Um, so yeah, the TARDIS gets yanked off course, and the Doctor regenerates. Um,
Because he bumped his
in the
head.
sense that the first time we see him, he's fallen down already, and we just see we know, of course, as we've discussed before, Colin Baker was not around for a regeneration scene, so you just see someone in his outfit
It's just
with their head
Sylvester.
obscured.
It's Sylvester McCoy in a wig.
Yeah, it
Like
is.
there's pictures out there of the unobscured his unobscured face, and he looks absolutely ridiculous. But
Um,
yeah, so what happened is after trial, the BBC just decided to fire Colin Baker anyway, after he fought for his life on screen, and he was invited back to do a regeneration scene, but Colin wanted one more season as a final farewell, and he would regenerate in the finale. But the BBC never said no. And although to hear him tell it, they didn't say no. They just never contacted him ever again and just ghosted him. So implicitly, they said no. And so they just hired Sylvester McCoy and put him in a wig. And the Doctor is fallen over and bumped his head and got a boo boo and regenerated over nothing. And yeah, that's why there's that's why there's conflicting accounts of the Sixth Doctor's regeneration and the causes of it. He doesn't really have a final episode the way that the previous 5 Doctors had, and really he's the first of 3 in a row that for a long time didn't have an endpoint because of that. That's why Big Finish has been able to make the Sixth Doctor and various story arcs and companions with him run as long as they want because he doesn't have an endpoint. All we know is he ends up on the floor. And so Big Finish came out with an audio box set called The Last Adventure, which led into Time in the Rani. There's also a novel out there called Spiral Scratch, which does the same thing. And then yeah, and Sylvester McCoy doesn't really have a set chronology either because he meets his demise in the TV movie, but between that and the show being canceled, we don't have any sort of time frame for or inkling of what happened. And then of course Paul McGann has had no endpoint for a long time at all until Night of the Doctor. So those 3 Doctors especially I feel are kind of Big Finish's flagship because they can do whatever they want.
really great.
Yeah. But that regeneration, however, is not really great. It's really stupid. For a long time, Colin Baker used to claim that he was still the Doctor because he had never regenerated, and the rest were imposters.
It's fun. It probably annoyed a lot of people
It's
in a good way.
that scene has been the subject of mockery for close to 40 years now. So
On the other hand, I really like Sylvester McCoy.
yeah, no, I love Seven. He's my favorite classic Doctor after Troughton, not counting McCoy or
Um,
McGann because he's kind of the weird in between. But um, yeah, it's there. On the DVD, there's a hidden Easter egg where they CG'd the regeneration with some new series style sparkles and light beams and stuff. But honestly, it doesn't really help so much because you can very clearly tell it's still not Colin under there, and you know that. Like the body type is completely different. He's way shorter. like doesn't work. Doesn't work. You can tart it up all you want, but the problem is the footage isn't there.
it's disappointing, but uh, a fantastic replacement. Um, he's instantly charming. Um, he feels like he
He didn't strangle anyone,
didn't strangle anyone.
so there's that.
It was good, but just well, because it starts off with them under attack and stuff. Mel isn't there immediately, and it's actually the first person the Doctor sees is the Rani, dressed as Mel,
Oh my
which
god.
is very stupid but also fantastic.
It is. It is the dumbest. I.
It's so dumb. I loved it.
And by the way, while we're at it, Mel's outfit has shoulder pads like a fucking PS1 character, and the outfit looks like she's a walking circus tent. So you get this not once but twice, and also we have McCoy in Colin Baker's coat most of the time too. So, holy shit.
Changes fairly early on.
Yeah, but it's just so much. Just colors. It's too much color. No more colors.
I thought it was ridiculous and I liked it.
You know,
The Rani is
McCoy's a small
kidnapping.
guy, and I mean he's wearing Colin Baker's actual coat. Like they didn't retailor it for him, so I'm surprised that they found him
Which,
again. After they put him in there, he would have disappeared. Ugh.
yeah. Um, I'm trying to. Okay, so yeah, so the Rani has been kidnapping geniuses to make like a Gestalt brain to figure out how to shoot a meteor full of like crazy valuable material out of the sky so she can harvest it. Which we find out over the course of 3 episodes. It takes forever to get anywhere.
Yeah, the idea is that she wants to make dinosaurs not die and evolve because they had wasted potential apparently. So, you know, and I guess she'll take over the world or whatever. It's a very original plot, and we've discussed before that Pip and Jane Baker are bad writers of Doctor Who.
They are bad writers of Doctor Who.
And in this case, I will give them a little bit of slack because when they wrote this, the Doctor had not been cast, and the characterization had not been settled on. So that's not really that's not really easy to write a story when you don't know who your leading man is or what he's going to be like. And I have to wonder if that's why he's kind of kept bumbling around so much.
I mean, I didn't hate parts of that. It's just this story is a story we've seen a bunch of times before. An evil person is exploiting an alien race for their own nefarious. We've seen the Master do this like 12 times. And while there's some really dumb, fun things like the Rani dressing up as Mel because the Doctor just regenerated and is all confused.
Yeah, but by that point, like for me, that's like it's not. None of this is fun. The cheapness and the awful music and the ridiculous costumes and the over the top.
Oh, I like the weird music.
No, the over the top performances. Everybody is up to 11. It's just embarrassing, and especially at the time, like the show just did an entire season basically trying to explain its right to exist, and it comes back with this, and sitting through it to me is excruciating. Like I can't stand this at all. It's just there are people out there, deranged, twisted, degenerate fucking individuals out there who like Time on the Rani as a so bad it's good B movie that it's funny experience. But I don't know.
Which I do. I do like it as that. That's what I can't.
I just for whatever reason I can't hack it. I can't turn my brain into that mode. I'm just sitting there the entire time, annoyed. And I don't know. And I don't think it's a good debut for McCoy either. I think that his charm, his personality shines through well, but they keep him confused and they keep him in the dark for so long, and it's and they drag out the regeneration process for so long where he's with the Rani, and then once he gets into contact with the real Mel, they don't believe each other. There's the obligatory like dress up scene that takes fucking forever. It's just he's falling over, he's mixing up his words. It's just you know, the only part of that that I actually found charming was him playing the spoons on the Ronnie's tits, because that was too much to not be funny. But the rest of it, I was like, let's go already.
I did really enjoy this as a so bad it's good type thing because this I already brought it up once, but this did remind me a lot of Dark Place, and I was like watching this, I was like, oh, they really captured the feeling of what this stuff was, like this not
Unfortunately,
good
yes. But the difference is that show
80s
is
TV.
that show's a parody, and this is like
So
actually for real.
yeah,
I mean,
I
and
know,
before
but
you
I
get into it,
still I
like
like
the when once the Doctor and Mel actually stop and they like do that thing where they look at each other's pulses and stuff, like that I like. Them
that.
picking.
I like the scene where they meet. I like where he mentions the carrot juice. It was a fun throwback.
I just, I kind of
But
wonder.
like,
I mean, Mel says she knows about regeneration already too, which I guess is convenient, but I
it's a
don't
big
think we ever talked about that with her before. I mean, she must, I guess, if
no.
she's aware of the Valiard, because like, how else do you explain that? But yeah,
Yeah, but you're right. It does take way too long to get there. And like I said, I like the Ronnie being dressed up as Mel. It goes on for way too long, and it stops being entertaining.
oh,
The story has a ton of problems.
yeah, really, it's got a ton of problems. I'll tell you something else that I liked in a way that was just funny. Um,
At costumes,
well, yeah, no, those were horrible, except for McCoy's like actual costume, which I do like. But they so okay. Just to set the stage here, the Rani's been on this planet. She's using the native fish people to do her bidding, and but there's fish people who are, I guess, rebels because
are they
of course
fish?
there are.
I thought they were like lizards.
Well, I don't give a fuck. They're weird people with scales on them. So maybe they're fish, maybe they're
Oh,
lizards.
more fish people, Kate.
I don't give a shit. Anyway, she set up these trip mines, and when you step on them, you get encased in a fucking glowing ball that, like, rockets and pinballs
Throws
you off
you
the
over a
mountaintops
cliff.
and then smashes you to the ground. The only thing that's left is their fucking skeleton, which I thought was hysterical. Like, fucking totally forgot about that.
Mel gets
Oh,
launched in one.
yeah, she does, and she screams, and she screams, and she screams, and that's all Mel ever does. This entire fucking 2 hour story is scream and scream and scream some more. Like anything that like people mock about classic series companions is basically
Is
what
this
Mel does
story.
in this story. It's awful. Her like I said, other than that bit of business with the pulses and like figuring out who each other are with the Doctor, like she's awful. Absolutely awful.
This is this is to me everything about bad Doctor Who put in a package that I had fun with. Like,
Yeah. Well,
I don't think I've actually mentioned it out loud this time, but like this is still a better debut than Twin Dilemma. Like I had fun watching this. I wasn't miserable the whole time. It's terrible. Um, and it's mostly the second half I enjoyed. Uh,
it does.
besides
I don't
some
know if it's
moments we
better,
talked.
but it definitely has a lighter tone than Twin Dilemma. Like I said, at least we aren't strangling people this time. The Doctor's not being a total bastard. He's just incompetent. Um,
Dilemma is just so, but it's like boring, and we have
yeah.
those super annoying, the super annoying twins.
Yes, we got two Adrix now. It's so good. Gosh, I mean,
No, because that's insulting. Those twins were so bad that's insulting to Adric, and we hate Adric.
we really do. We don't like Adric. Do you like Adric? I don't like Adric.
No,
No.
I think Adric gets some moments that I like, but I don't like Adric.
The most fun I've ever had with Adric was him siding with vampires because he's lazy.
Yes,
Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to say which is worse because they're both cases where like everything is wrong. Everything is wrong,
yeah.
and unlike you, I wasn't able to enjoy this as silliness. I mean, I want to say Twin Dilemma's worse because this at least had some zip to it, but yeah.
I again, I overall I think I enjoyed this, so I think it's definitely way better than Twin Dilemma because Jesus fucking Christ, I never want to watch that again, ever, ever.
No, me neither, but I'll
It's
have to.
bad.
I'll have to
Well,
once
that was
John
your
gets there.
fault.
Well, I know it is, but oh yeah, there's bat people too.
Yes, there are bad monster people, which the costumes. See again, it's and the lizard people. It's like, oh, oh, you gave me the two versions of the bad Doctor Who monsters.
I don't know. Like,
Um,
so the bat people are aliens. I forget what they're called. They're aliens that the Rani brought with her, and they like act as her minions. And I have to say that like certain shots and certain activities that the bat people do, like they actually look good. They've got like eyeballs 360 around their heads, which is kind of neat. Their mouths are
very
articulated. They've
weird.
got a stabby tongue thing. Like for a classic Who costume, like in some ways they're not bad, but in other shots they look like Sesame Street characters, and it's very strange. It's like I don't know how they can make a costume that looks so good from certain angles and then just blow it with everything else. I mean, the fish people always look stupid, but
Yes, I don't know. I
oh, can we talk about how the Ronnie released killer bees from a disco ball to fucking kill everyone?
can also mention that.
Because that's a thing that happened on Doctor Who. That's a thing that people wrote and filmed and
Yes.
broadcasted.
Um, they make the missile not work. They divert its course,
The
and the
missile.
Rani blows up
Oh yeah,
her headquarters.
she does blow up her headquarters,
I
but
think she was trying to kill all of the people inside, but I think no one was in there.
something like that.
That
By
because
that
like
point, I had beaten myself over the head with heavy objects. So
it was like trying to take care of everyone, and then it just shows the doctor standing there with every character we've seen.
yeah, well,
Oh,
the
is no one in there? I don't really know.
hmm, nobody who matters. I think the one like collaborator fish dude was in there to like make up for his sins or whatever. But
The one everyone hates.
yeah, the one everyone hates. I also like how the doctor like offers them, you know, like a cure for their diseases and like some help, and they'll just like pour it on the ground. They're like, "No, we got to do it ourselves." I'm like, "You don't want fucking medicine? Like he's not gonna govern you." Like,
Very dumb story.
yeah. Also, the Ronnie ends up like trapped upside down in her own TARDIS by the Bat people.
Yes, that is how this ends. It's very weird.
We never see the Ronnie again.
Why? Even in Big Finish?
No, she comes back in Big Finish, but like on TV, like that's the last you've ever seen of the Ronnie as being abducted by Bat people. Oh Lord.
Yeah. It's not good.
It's really not. I'm glad that you managed to find some joy in it. Because if you're not
Good.
on the so bad it's good train, you're gonna have the worst time of your life watching this.
Um. So I mean that's pretty much it.
Well, I'll ask you, um, what do you think of the Seventh Doctor thus far? Then, because I guess
I
you haven't really
really
seen him
like him
before,
so far. No, I really like him. It took a little while to like get a feel for him because
acting like a retard.
he's doing that. Okay, he's doing the thing that like all the new doctors do, which is they're like struck ill or whatever, like half amnesia. It's weird, um, and it does go on for way too long. But once we get a feel of the Seventh Doctor, I instantly liked him, um, and I'm really excited to see him do more.
Yeah, it's this the Seventh Doctor on TV is kind of a game of two halves. Because season 24 Unfortunately, his characterization is mostly in the Time on the Ronnie style, where he's a goofy fucking idiot. But once Ace shows up in season 25, and then on through to the end, he becomes. He still has a charm, but he becomes much more of a calculating, manipulative character, and
Oh,
I like that version of him a lot better.
I guess we'll
Um,
see because it should hopefully like evolve. But
yeah, well, I mean, there's hints of it
I
here
don't
and
know. It
there.
was nice to see a doctor show up and not be a total asshole. I know it was only one who did. Well, no, even when Five showed up, like Five grew on me, but I didn't like him at first either.
Well, he spent most of his first time in a box,
Yeah,
and he had to deal with Adric and Tegan. So,
yeah.
I'll
Five was a little abrasive at first, but I grew to actually really like that because I realized it wasn't him like being an asshole. He was just like being in charge. He was.
well, I mean, I just the way a lot of people tend to think of Peter Davison and the what I agree with is kind of like he's a parent of teenagers at the end of his rope.
Yes.
And yeah, unfortunately, it's just kind of his life is to police these yahoos living in his house. Um, but yeah, I like kind of this McCoy 2.0 better when he gets a little darker, a little more of a chess master. And I don't think he ever loses his charm, especially with Ace. Like he and Ace have a really good like working relationship and a great rapport with each other, which goes a long way, even when he's doing things that might be considered a little bit dubious. But
We definitely don't really see that here
no, no. But
because
I guess what I'm trying to say is like I don't think they ever really fully turn him into just an asshole. Like he's not.
which
He's never like early
Six
Colin
was.
Baker. He's never that bad.
Yeah, like we grew to like Colin Baker, but he starts at the very beginning. He's super unlikable. Like he's just a dick, and
Well,
like,
you know
well, I mean,
that's
again, we brought it up. Twin Dilemma starts with him strangling
strangling a pancake.
companion. Like,
Yeah.
come, yeah,
Well, I mean, you know, I we did grow to like Colin Baker, but I think we grew to like Colin Baker in spite of the scripts. Like he was,
yes.
especially his first few stories, he was written very poorly.
Whereas this, I'm like, oh, I can tell Sylvester McCoy is a very charming actor. Um, and even though this what he's given is garbage, like he's still doing something interesting with it. I thought.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think so too. I think he did his best. There's a lot of people out there that really don't like the Seventh Doctor. I'm not entirely sure why. Because I mean, I think he's the best. He's the best portrayal probably since Tom Baker of somebody whose brain is just on a different wavelength than everybody else.
I totally, and you get that feeling even in the story once he like
Yeah,
normalizes.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of used in different ways as time goes on, but he feels he has that sense of being offbeat and a little odd,
But,
and I like that.
I wish the story was better or good because even though I liked it, it's terrible,
Not a fucking dumpster
really, really
fire.
terrible. Yeah,
You know, it would be nice. Yeah, unfortunately, the trial season was a brief reprieve from late '80s Doctor Who sucking shit. But after this season, it's one more season of horrible medicine to swallow, and then we can get back to enjoying the show.
yes. Well, I don't know. Why we'll see. What's next week's story, Kate?
Next week's story is Paradise Towers.
Sounds lovely.
Maybe.
I bet it's about some ritzy uh, apartment complex in the future in space.
Okay. Well, you'll have to watch and find out, but you're
Yeah.
not entirely wrong.
Yeah. You see? See, I can do this. I can figure this shit
Have you
out.
seen Doctor Who before?
Seen Doctor Who before. I've seen Doctor Who 199 times at minimum, Kate.
What a waste of time.
Fuck you.
I've been rewarded with a huge fan base for this suffering. Oh, 7 years. What a terrible, terrible thing. All
All
right.
right, so
Well,
yes, we'll be back for an unspectacular episode 200 to cover Paradise Towers. Bye, everyone.
oh no.